All right, family, peace, greetings. Welcome to another edition of Baba TV here on the south side of Syracuse. And as you can see right here, I'm about to go in here. Brother Kareem.
Hey, how you doing today, brother? How you feeling?
Oh man, I'm doing good. It's been a minute since I seen you, and I see that you have. Azania told me about that you had a business. Now, this brother right here, family, has been from on the what you call the flatfoot hustlers on the street selling incense and oils for years. This is a brother that I can say built his business from the ground up. He don't have no boss. He ain't no driving Miss Daisy like I am, running around here with Uber, even though I can turn it on and off when I get ready. But this is a brother who owns his own business, who I've known for years. And actually, his father had a store here called Oasis Fish House when I was a little boy. And my stepdad would bring me in there for lunch, and he had a fish sandwich that everybody knows here called the comeback sandwich, and the macaroni salad to go with it. And isn't this something that probably have been at least 40 years ago or more? And here his son has an establishment just about in the same place that his father was in, and I'm not gonna run my mouth anymore. Because Brother Kareem got a lot to say, brother.
My father had a business actually in the same building. It was next door.
Okay.
Years and whatnot. I believe it was 89 when he left here. 89. Was it 89? It was a little bit before 89, more like 88, something like that. Mm-hmm. But he was here for years and whatnot. And yeah, he talking about to come back with cheese. Yeah, oh, whoa. Everybody. If I had, like I told him earlier, I said, if I had $1 for every time someone asked me about that sandwich, I'd be a millionaire by now. As a matter of fact, I was living in Boston. And I was going to one of the masjids up there, and I was in Boston. And this brother, he asked me something. He said, where was I from? I told him I was from the Syracuse area. And he said, do you know this brother named Roosevelt? I said, yeah. I said, that's my father. And he said, he started talking about that comeback with cheese all the way up in Boston. And so that's how far that goes with that. So yeah, I've been here for a good little while. Now it's been about a year and stuff and everything. And it really does feel good to be in the same building. I think some of my father's energy makes
Yes, it is.
Definitely.
Talk a little bit about your upbringing and how, because everybody knows your father as being a no-nonsense man. He was very politically astute. You wasn't going to just come in this establishment and buy something. He would give you the business. What I mean by that was an education, and he would debate you if he had to. And it seems as though, because you have sisters too, and it all came out in you all in different ways, but it seems like, because you have kept his beliefs, his the religion, his way of life, I should say, and everything else. Talk about that.
Well, my father, he was a member of the Nation of Islam in its early stages in the 70s and going back before that. And he was very, very politically savvy. And like you said, you couldn't just tell him anything, come in the restaurant and be like, blah, 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 and tell him some stuff and then walk away. And he was going to be like, yeah, and co-sign it. No, you had to come with something behind it to actually prove some evidence and stuff and everything. So you couldn't just tell him anything and whatnot. Yeah. So he was politically savvy. He was into the community, and he loved his people. He loved the people. Yes, he did. And one matter of fact, I think a lot of the times the pricing of the food was based on the people and what they could afford. You know, I think so many times nowadays, and I think people get mad with me sometimes because I say to the people, I say, what is the pricing of this stuff based on? You know, you go inside of a restaurant and they got food, they got a dinner and it costs $25 or $30. And these people never take in consideration of the crowd of people that you're dealing with. Who are you dealing with? If you're dealing with people that's got, because you figure $25 or $30, you figure 3 people buy a dinner. A woman comes in and she got 2 young children and she buy a dinner and she buy a dinner for each one of her children. That's almost $100. And don't get no drinks and something to eat or a cake or something along with it. Boy, you're going to be up to $100 for 3 people to eat. So you have to be careful. And I think my father always dealt with the fact of what did the community have? What did the people have? Balance, you have to balance it out. And I would definitely take that, if nothing else from him, is that the fact that, consider the people, take the people into consideration when you're doing business. Even me, myself, I try to take them into consideration. I may want to think something that is high end, but I get to the point where I say, you know what? They can't afford that. Let me bring some stuff that's more down to earth. Let me get some $20 stuff, some $15 stuff, $5 and $10 stuff, and even $2 or $3 stuff, and whatnot. Like I recently had ventured out into the clothing business, got a little bit of clothes in here and stuff and everything and whatnot. But I tried to keep it where they could afford it, because that was the main thing and whatnot. I don't want to have a business that no one can afford to support, and I'm in this area. Makes no sense. What am I here for? To get other people to come in? I'm not into exclusion. I'm into inclusion. I want to include the community, not get somebody from elsewhere to come in and buy materials. That's why I have stuff that's affordable for the people. Yeah. So it has been a long journey, like I said, from the pavement to where we at now. Definitely.
Talk about, because I saw you the other day in front of the school there, and talk about the importance, because it's our people bicker so much, the importance of working with our people who may have a different belief than you. Should we put our belief first, or should we put black first?
Well, here's the thing. We have to remember this. When it comes to spirituality and your relationship with God, that's your relationship with God. Everybody does not have to accept your belief system for you to get along with them. Everyone does not have to accept your religious background. As a matter of fact, not everybody's going to accept your religious background. Something, there's something, and I use it, and a lot of brothers try to use, you got to use this to keep it balanced. Prophet Muhammad was crying one day, and he was asking the question. He said, why isn't everyone Muslim? And Allah gave it to him. Allah said this. He said, if I wanted them all to be Muslim, I would have made them all a Muslim. I didn't make them all Muslim. So there you go. That answers it all. And then it is something in the Quran where it says, closer to you in knowledge are the children of Israel, and closer to you in heart are the Christians. In the Quran it says that. So who am I to make you want to be something that you don't have to be? You don't have to be that for me and you to have an understanding and a relationship and work together as one in a community together and whatnot. And I don't understand where these people get this from, where if you ain't my religious background, then I can't work with you. Yes, I can. Who says who? I ain't never seen that in the Bible. I ain't never seen it in the Torah or the Injil. I ain't never seen it in the Quran, period. I ain't never seen the Quran where you can't work with the people that are around you. You look like a fool not working around with the people around. And people of African descent and whatnot, and people of color scattered across the globe, especially the darker people, whether they be the Melanesian people in the South Pacific Islands who are very dark skinned, or the people in Australia, or the people off the African continent, they have no choice but to work together. You work together. Let me put it like this. If they, the British, the French, the Belgium, if all of them can get together and divide a whole entire continent up based on dark skin and whatnot, and decide to put these people in bondage, take them from Africa, take them from wherever, or go into the Melanesian Islands or wherever, and put these people in bondage based on dark skin, then why in the world can't y'all come together to do something positive based on that? If they could use it for something negative, you could use it to do something positive. So yeah, it's becoming the thing where we need to come together. Yes, we got to come together and whatnot. And so when you dealing with that, I believe in that 110%. 110%, because my spirituality, that's my relationship with God. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have that for us to work together. Definitely. Mm-hmm. Especially if you got something positive that you're trying to do. Because at the end of the day, we all need the same thing. We all need the same thing and whatnot. When you believe in something, you're going to put your mouth behind it, right? When you believe in something, you're going to put physical work into it, right? Mm-hmm. If you believe in something, you're going to put money forward, right? My thing is this. Right now, I like German chocolate cake, right? If I wanted to make that German chocolate cake, I could say I like it all I want to, right? Either I got to go somewhere and buy it, right? Or either I got to go in the store, get the ingredients, bring them back, put them all together and whatnot, and then I sit the chocolate cake out and I put the German chocolate frosting on there, and that's that. Either I do that, or I ain't gonna have no German chocolate cake. So do I really like German chocolate cake? And that's the same thing with the people. If you really say you like community, how can you not invest in community? How can you not invest in people? If you really say you want them to be successful, how you going to not invest in them? If you're not investing in them, then apparently you don't like them and you ain't really a community person. So stop with the lip professing. And I feel like that's, in that case, politically, there are a lot of people that say a lot of things, but they ain't backing us. Not really. Listen, I feel like this. Number one, I feel like no matter... I got this concept. If you got a good president and you got a sorry governor of your state, you're going to have problems. If you got a good president and a good governor, and then you turn around and you got a terrible county legislator, you're going to have a hard time in your area. You understand what I'm saying? In your county. If you got a good president, a good governor, and you got a good county legislator, and whatnot, if you got a bad mayor, you're going to have a problem in your city. Now, if you got 1, 2, 3, 4, all of them is good, and you got sorry people around you in your community, your leadership, inner core leadership is bad, then your community going to suck. Or you got people that ain't willing to do nothing, it's going to suck. So no, this thing has to happen. I believe with us as African Americans that it starts from the grassroots level and it comes up. We as a people sometimes need to concentrate more on what can we do in small things, right? In these small little blocks. And then these blocks, and then take it from the block to the city, and then take it from the city to the county, or in the case of Syracuse, New York, leave it in Syracuse or whatever the case may be. Because at the end of the day, when you start going out in the county, a lot of that ain't us, and we don't have control over it. But everywhere where we do have the ability to speak up and do things is where we should do it. I definitely feel like that. And I don't feel like the political candidates, I feel like at the end of the day, they gonna do what they gonna do, you know? And whatnot. I believe this. I believe that they always, to some degree, is never really going to be fair and just when it comes to us. So I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like at least we can call them accountability on some things. But do I feel like they're going to be just all the way? I never think they're going to be just all the way. I always feel like if it's such and such amount of money that comes in and is allocated towards us, I believe, like say if they got 100 million and it's allocated towards helping us, sometimes I believe 20 million are only gonna see us, or 30 million gonna see us. But it should never be a point where they should be able to take it all. We know you're gonna take from us. We already know we are a community and y'all steal from us all the time. We know y'all gonna steal from us. But at least, goddammit, at least turn 30 between, if you got 100 million, turn 30 million or loose. Give us something of what you said was allocated towards us. We know you're going to steal from us. And by all means necessary, don't give it to no puppet people to try to run it for us. Give it to the people that's really going to do something for community and whatnot. Here's the thing. When you help us, you help yourself. You understand what I'm saying? If you want African Americans to stay out of your communities and not be an eyesore and not be a problem, let them take that money that's allocated for them and let them invest in their community so they could build it up, so they could stay out the way. That's what you want, right? You want us to stay out the way. That's the only way we're going to stay out the way, is to create some jobs and create some stuff for ourselves and whatnot. And you know, take it like right now. If we got a grocery store right here, we ain't got to go out there into the white neighborhood to buy anything. We stay right here, right where we at. We don't bother you. And that's one problem that you don't got. You understand what I'm saying? Let us produce.
What do you think about integrationism? You know, and is that seem to be a problem among some of our people here in Syracuse, New York, wanting to integrate? Because some people who are, like, for instance, Kareem, who are integrationists, they might be offended by what you say because they got this white mind going on, and they, may be thinking about somebody else rather than thinking about themselves.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem with the whole integrationism and all that. Remember, we all years after they so-called enacted integration, we still in communities where it's predominantly black. We still in communities where it's predominantly white. We still in communities where it's predominantly Irish and Jewish and Italian, and these are blacks, and these are West Indian people. These over here, these are Arabs. These over here, people from India, and all of that stuff. And then we got areas where, like the reservations where the Native Americans live. Listen, we got to be careful about that. People gather around the people that they have the closeness to, that they have a relationship with. You understand what I'm saying? That's only natural. That's what they do. We gather in the areas we really want to be bothered. So my thing is this: for us to go out the way for one or two folks that want to have a multicultural part, and we all holding hands and singing kumbaya. To me, that doesn't make any sense at this present point. And some people say, well, don't you want where everybody holding hands and singing kumbaya? I don't know if that's possible for everybody to get together and sing no kumbaya and whatnot. And besides, why can't you be over here in your Italian neighborhood, or you be in your Irish neighborhood, or I'm in my neighborhood in Soulsville or wherever and whatnot, and why can't we have our separate communities but still respect one another? Why we can't respect one another? Even though I live here, I'm going to respect you. You stay over there. Or if you come over here, you're allowed to come in, you buy food, whatever, and whatnot.
That don't mean I want you messing with my woman.
Yeah, and I ain't too good on that. I ain't really too good on that. But I kind of just go along because one thing about it, people are allowed to marry whoever the hell they want to marry. So it's difficult to try to put a collar on that. And I wouldn't try to put a collar. I let them do. I would just say, do you? Because when you come down to that, it all comes down to preference and whatnot. Now, if that's who you like, that so be it. That ain't what I want to do. So I don't knock nobody for what they want to do, but it ain't for me. I just say that. And guess what? There are some white guys that say that it ain't for what they don't want a black woman. They want an Irish woman. Or they want and some Italians say I want an Italian woman. Some Jewish guys say I want a Jewish woman.
They racist for that.
No, they doing what works for them. That's what they want to do. It's just like right now, you'll see a brother and he'll say, boy, I like light-skinned women. You wouldn't get mad when you say, man, he likes light-skinned women. You'll see a brother, he likes dark-skinned women. Oh, he likes dark-skinned women. The only problem when it becomes a problem when you start doing self-hate. Now, my thing is, and it wouldn't be, it's not the problem if you dating who you want to date. My thing is date who you want to date, but don't put nobody else down in the process. And I see some people do that. Now, all of a sudden, you dating a white woman. Now, every black woman ain't no damn good and whatnot and stuff. Mm-hmm. And she need to be this and she need to be this. I've often looked at that and I see like even now this play on black women being masculine and all of this stuff and everything. I think people have to be careful about that whole thing of black women being more aggressive or being more masculine. I think they have to be careful because they try to look at Asian women, they look at white women, they look at so-and-so, and they say, oh, these women are all very feminine. But look at the environment of black women. And then if you go back to the counterpart in Africa, look at even them. Those women, the environment doesn't call for them to be dainty. The environment, it makes them to some point where they have to be strong. And then being in America and dealing with white folks on you, black folks on you, or better yet, in the case of the black woman, she got to deal with the black man. He's struggling, striving, trying to get it. Then she got to deal with the white woman who on her and stuff and everything. And in the process, sometimes she comes from a really impoverished background. So you expect for her to sometimes have a little bit of aggression. See, here's the difference, what you got to remember. And a lot of brothers can relate to this. If 9 times out of 10, if a white man getting into a fight and his old lady is there, she might stand to the background and whatnot and say, someone help him, right? Now, if a black man getting in the fight, and depending on which area they from, if he in a fight and he down, that aggressive black woman that you say so-and-so is going 9 times out of 10 jump in, and she gonna let off. So my thing is the environment sometimes, for the environment that we live in and what we dealing with and whatnot and stuff, sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need that. I don't care what nobody, sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need that lady that's got your back. Just like, boo, no matter what. If this go down, that's like I had a friend, she told me one time, she said, she had an incident and she said that she was somewhere and her and an old man had a situation and she told him, said, look, if they come up in here and whatnot, we're going to beat them up. We're going to beat them down and put them out of here together. Ain't going to be just you. We're going to all beat them down and put them out of here together. So that aggression plays a part in our society and it works for our environment. And these women are only acting out in the environment that they're in. They have to be aggressive because the environment is aggressive. The society is aggressive towards you. So what, you supposed to be weak in the process? Mm-hmm. You know, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. And we were speaking earlier about, you asked me what school did I go to, and I told you the bad boy school, whatever. You told me don't say that. You have went to the same school and don't say that. Elaborate a little bit more on that.
Well, what I was saying earlier about those schools, when you say bad people school and all this stuff and everything and whatnot, I think that my daughter was graduating from school and she was saying something. They had called all of these kids up and they said that they was the future leaders of this and the future leaders of that. And my daughter told me, son, she said, Dad, she said, why did they call them the future leaders? She said, some of them kids be clowning and cutting up and everything. And I said to her, I said, well, that's from what they see. I said, that doesn't mean that's going to stay the same. That does not mean that that's going to stay. Don't write yourself off. Don't write yourself off. And I feel as though a lot of times when kids come from Beard and Blogic and some of the young ladies that ended up at Y-Man because they was pregnant at a young age, sometimes I feel like the society writes them off. And I think that we look to the other side of the tracks without realizing that it's more to that than just that. Remember, the Queen of Soul had a child at 13 years old. 13 or 14, I think it was, that she had her first child at 13 years old. Was it 13 years old? She had her first child, but she went on to great success, right? But somebody could have just completely wrote her off and said, you ain't gonna be nothing because you done had a child at a young age. You understand what I'm saying? So here's the thing, when you dealing with that's why I said there really is no bad children. It's just children that need to be worked with. And if we were to call off bad children, I don't believe that it's an element where out of 100 kids is 50 of them that's really rotten seeds. You might get one that's really to the point where it's terrible. But oftentimes, most children need to be worked with, stimulated, or shown that somebody actually gives a damn about them to some degree. That's how I feel about that. So yeah, that's why I said don't say the bad school. Don't say the bad school.
All right, well, I'm out. I don't have any more questions. If you want to take us on out of here with any final words.
Well, I would say to you, stay positive, work together, and become unified because there's so much getting ready to happen in this country right now. You know, we got Kamala Harris and Donald Trump running in the election. Right now, we got two options, and I picked Kamala Harris over that whole situation, and hopefully maybe she could walk away with it, get this election, because that would be better than the other whatchamacallit. Sometimes you got to pick between what's going to be the less. And the way I figure, by the time Donald Trump and the Heritage Foundation and Project 225, by the time 2025, by the time they get to implementing whatever they doing, they're going to roll it back. And that's what we don't want them to do. We don't want them to roll it back. By all means necessary, anything but rolling it back. And that's what I feel fearful of, is the fact that they may roll things back. Plus, I don't know, a man gets convicted of 34 counts of election fraud. 34 counts of election fraud. What is that saying to the rest of us in the country? What is that saying? And actually comes and runs for president. What is that saying about our country? Where have we went? Where are we going to with this thing and whatnot? And that's why I say black folks need to be more unified and come together and work together. Sometimes you don't want to, but find a brother, find a group of brothers and sisters you can work with. Start trying to implement some things in your community, in your area. It ain't got to be nothing big. Just do something small. Do something small. Look at one of the needs that is needed in the African American community, whether it's food, clothing, shelter, healthcare, whatever. Implement something simple. Simple. It ain't got to be nothing big. From a grassroots level. And guess what? Pull your few dollars together to do it. That would say so much if you could do that, because you'll be surprised what you and a couple of brothers and sisters can get together. Y'all pull y'all money together. You'll be surprised what y'all can do with a little. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So-
and that's my thing. And do your part and stop worrying about trying to get somebody else to do what you think they should do, and do your damn part.
Yeah, there you go. Do your part. And if you ain't gonna, if you can't really physically do anything, at least speak out. You know that Mama said this. Said if you find a wrong, there's 3 ways you can deal with it. He said this. He said you can speak out against it. He said you can attack it. No, he said you can attack it with your hands, speak out against it, or at least hate it in your heart. And hating it in your heart is the weakest of faith. That's weak, because there ain't nothing worse than a person right now, a woman run past here and whatnot, a man run past here and see a woman on the corner and snatch her bag and run. And you say, oh boy, that soul is bad in your heart. Nah, bro, at least tell him, say, man, why you did that? Or at least go and try to stop him. If you might not be able to stop him, physically stop him, but at least speak out and say, y'all know it's wrong. But we got a lot of people that's in their heart, oh, I hate it now, oh, it's so bad. Oh, why? Well, ain't you going to speak out? At least speak out. Maybe if you speak out, somebody else will hear it and they'll say, hang on, wait a minute. Man, he just snatched that lady's purse. Get over here. Give me that purse and take it back to that lady. That kind of stuff. This is what I'm saying. So yeah. So we need to get to that level where we ready to speak out and actually really attack it with our hands. Attack it with our hands and speak out against it. And that's what we need. Because now we done got to the point where people ain't even speaking positivity. You know what I mean? They quiet. And people scared to speak positivity because they think somebody's going to ask them to stand up. And then some people scared to speak positivity because they're afraid that their life going to be on the line. That they may lose their life. But you know what? Anything that ain't worth dying for ain't no good cause. I don't care what nobody say. It ain't no good cause. If you ain't willing to die for it, then it must not be that serious. It must not be that serious. Yeah, so that's what I would leave with the people, definitely.
Well, Brother Kareem, thank you. It's good to see you. And I'll be back. I will be supporting you always now that I know where you're at. And on that note, I just want to say that Baba TV, this is my little part that I play. And don't try to get me out of my lane. This is my lane. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine.
That's right.
Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Okay.